All right, hello and welcome for the final time in the year 2023, the Holy Hour Podcast, woo, the All Cure Biweekly Podcast. I'm Gavin and I'm joined by Chaz and Antonio. Welcome, fellas.
Hello. Welcome.
Hello,
you scared me there for a second.
Brethren. I know. For the final time. I was like,
For the final time, this is it.
Are we announcing our final tour?
Yes.
Well, this is a surprise to both Antonio and I.
Yeah. Everybody's here. Well, buy tickets now. So. But yes, we are in the middle of our office party here, celebrating the end of another glorious Cure year at the Holy Hour Podcast. So welcome. We've had a head start here. We Antonio was just Xeroxing his ass on the copy machine. Chaz is puking Baja Blast in the wastebaskets everywhere. It's getting rowdy over here, so we figured we should hit record and dive into our year in review before things get off the rails completely. So you guys having a good year wrapping up? Are we all holding together here in the month of December?
Yeah, for the most part. There was some bad stuff, but for the most part, it was a pretty good year.
Yeah.
So ups and downs, but came out on top, still here.
We're still here.
Yeah.
That's good. That's all you can really hope for.
It was a quick one, I feel like. I'm like, wait a minute.
Did we just do this
over already? Yeah. I'm like, we got to start all over again? Oh.
Yeah, I guess it's
all those New Year's resolutions that didn't pan out.
Just save them for this year. It'll be great. They're still fresh.
Yeah.
So what we like to do in these end of the year episodes is reminisce and pull out the highlights and lowlights. We usually kick it off with the Cure perspective first, since we know that's technically why you're all here, not just to hear about our personal year. But so we'll kick it off with everything that we can remember that happened with the Cure in 2023, and then segue into the podcast stuff and what we hope to do in the future and what the Cure hopes to do in the future, favorite albums, all that good kind of stuff. So just a good chill chit-chatty episode, hopefully. But I guess with the Cure, busy year for those guys. Really hit the road good and proper. I guess going all the way back to like January. I didn't jot down and remember where the hell the official North America tour announcement started, but I felt like it was like in January, right? Or we were still kind of glowing from the European tour and wondering, all right, is it our turn next? What's going on? Because it was supposed to be imminent, right, for a long time too, and any second now kind of comments being dropped, and we're all like,
like mysterious social media posts. So you're like, we're gonna hear something.
So everyone just even stopped worrying about the goddamn album at that point and was obsessing over, when this tour was gonna get announced. So the first thing I had on my list was it did get announced, and we all got excited. We all tried to touch base immediately, try to figure out some kind of battle plan of dates and such. And the first real event, though, was the battle with Ticketmaster and how this was all going to go down. Robert Smith takes on Ticketmaster. And possibly his biggest...
I pictured in my head as South Park up Godzilla and Mothra,
Totally. It's somehow become his biggest conquest, I think, in the headlines. The normies were even seeing Robert Smith in the headlines for battling Ticketmaster. Him and Taylor Swift were the only ones brave enough to take them on. And so it was definitely something. We won't rehash every little ups and down of all that. I guess at the end of it all, since we all know the story, how do you guys feel? Did this make any kind of difference, you think? Is anyone else going to try this approach to ticket buying?
It's disappointing.
Yeah.
You would hope that Depeche Mode, after the Cure did their thing, would come back and fix what was going on, but I don't know. It's just disappointing overall. But I will say I bought tickets for my youngest to see Melanie Martinez at the Wells Fargo Center,
Mm-hmm.
and I had no issue getting tickets on the pre-sale.
Hmm.
I was 2000th in line, and I could have picked lower level, upper level tickets. So it didn't really matter. And they were pretty relatively well priced. It was like I think 65 for each ticket. We were sitting upper level just because I want them to be able to see.
Yeah.
Um, uh, but yeah, it really wasn't that bad, and the fees weren't that bad either. So
Yeah.
yeah, I don't know. It's interesting. So in the lower levels were like I think 120, which I would probably pay that to see the Cure. So I couldn't,
Yeah.
I just didn't know if they'd be able to see or not. So that was the
Yeah.
biggest problem. So yeah, I don't know. It's an interesting world we're living in. So and she has like 7 million or 6 million followers on Instagram. So I don't
Yeah.
think the Cure has that many. So
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, it's interesting. I thought more people. I thought you're right. I think somebody needed to pick up the mantle almost right away. Now
Yeah.
that there's kind of been time there, it's like long forgotten.
Yeah. That's I wonder if they're just kind of like, all right, letting the smoke settle, and then Ticketmaster starts creeping back in and
Well, I
setting
mean,
the
yeah,
at the
prices.
end of
And
the day, Ticketmaster is not. They're not going to make the adjustment just based on what happened there. They were like, people are going to forget about it, and
yeah.
kind of they have. Because aside from those of us that really, went to these shows or multiple ones and dealt with buying tickets and stuff like that, like they're not. It's out of sight, out of mind. Like anyone that saw it in the news, that's probably not
hmm
even registering on their like things that
Yeah.
happened this year. Let's be honest.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
so I mean, we definitely benefited from it because we saved some money, especially because we went to
Right.
multiple shows
yeah,
and
Yeah.
traveled and other things. So it was like it's awesome, and I think it's something he will continue to do. But I think you need more people in a higher ranking to really like step up
Yeah.
hmm
and be a part of that. Because then Ticketmaster tried to kiss ass and did oh, we're no longer gonna take fees from your merch. And it's
Yeah.
like, okay, but then you're just gonna probably roll that fee into
they're
the
gonna
ticket
find money
price.
somewhere.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, they're not cutting it all together.
Yeah. But yeah, I wish more bands would have at least just taken a fraction of the multi thing approach that they did, like would have just
Yeah,
sold their t-shirts for 25 bucks even, even
yeah,
yeah,
it is just cuz that double triple whammy with the insane process of getting tickets, then the insane prices, then the insane fees, then you get to the venue and your shirts cost $50 and shit, it's just like exhausting. And even if a band took one of those, it would be cool.
yeah, or even the non-transferring, even if it was just some of these bands like putting down and be like, okay, I get it with your fees, but like, how about no resale in the states that there's no resale? You can
yeah,
only sell them back to Ticketmaster so that they can legitimately be sold to someone else, which would help keep down the secondhand ticket pricings and
Yeah.
it selling out so fast that because robots buy it. I
Yeah.
mean, I'm more concerned with I wish we could stop the robots from buying up all the tickets, even more so than the fees, because I'll pay that convenience fee if I can conveniently fucking get tickets without robots buying them all up in 2 minutes.
Right.
yeah. I
So it's
get
like,
it. Yeah, it's just I just definitely I think the biggest problem is the secondary market and the links with Ticketmasher, yeah, goes
yeah,
Ticketmaster.
it's
to
a good nickname.
goes to I don't know, they have their hand in that too also. They have
Yeah,
contracts and everything with all these, with StubHub and all these other companies,
Right.
and that's where the first thing comes from, and then the fees on top of that, that just adds to it, where
Yeah.
you're like, I've already paid $500 for this ticket, and now I have to pay another $150 in fees for no reason.
Right.
So yeah, it's
yeah,
not like you're going to the place and you're paying someone to print out the ticket and to like you're paying for customer service.
Right.
You're not
They're
doing
not
that shit
yeah.
anymore.
yeah, they're not custom framing it or
Yeah.
anything.
Yeah, yeah,
It's like the fucking yeah, you don't even get the piece of paper
Yeah.
anymore. It's like, what the hell? So yeah, it's pretty
Yeah.
dirty. I just like that we can legitimately say that we got to battle the robots in like a literal sense. You know, like we live in an awesome day and age
Yeah.
now where we can say we need to stop the robots.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah,
2023.
Yeah.
John
At the,
Connor.
Terminator. We
at the
gotta
same
battle the
time,
robots.
other than maybe Philadelphia and another place, I really don't think it was that hard for people to get in. And I think a lot of the complaining and that came along with it was kind of overblown.
And just
I
panic. I
Yeah,
think
it
like you're
was
saying, it
panic
was
definitely, but
you
yeah.
could get back and it like I think the initial not getting tickets was fucked up and a lot of people did get like
Yeah.
shut down, but the way we were able to get in on night 3 without having anything
Yeah.
going to
Night 3
till
was just like,
like
oh, we woke up that morning, I rolled out of bed and I was like, guys, I got it took a couple minutes, but I was like,
yeah
guys, I got 3 tickets for us tonight.
yeah
Where it
nice.
was like it's not that big of a deal,
Yeah,
so
and that's
Yeah, I think the biggest thing was just the communication of how it really went with putting the different cities you'd want to go to. Like that whole thing got a little
yeah
rocky, you know,
yeah yeah just the
which
planning
messed up
factor
the
and
strategy of the planning of like, yeah, like what you'd be able to do and all that stuff. But I think there's something to it for the future if they do it again or if someone does do it, because I mean I do understand how like tickets and contracts and especially how things get booked, because it's like I get to deal with it from my job, are
Mhm.
getting booked more and more in advance. So there, we may not be hearing it because bands that would have wanted to take up that mantle were like, shit, our contract's already signed and our tickets are already sold
yeah.
for our tours going through till April. So it's like
Yeah.
we can't really adjust that now. But will they remember it then when they're going to announce the next one? Because I just can't see that there aren't other bands out there that are like, shit, I want to do that too. Like
Yeah.
Yeah.
from the bigger upper echelon ones, like I'm not talking the locals, I mean, with or
Yeah.
the small band clubs and club, that's tough enough. I mean, The Cure did the right thing. Again, yeah, their ticket pricings were amazing. Everyone was able to buy multiple, pieces of merch without breaking the
Yeah.
Yeah.
bank.
Yeah.
I mean, that was huge.
Right on. We won't bog down on ticket talk for too long, so let's go to the actual tour, which I think everyone can pretty much say across the board was a success. They stayed healthy through the whole thing, no cancellations, no drama that we know of anyway, and set lists were amazing for the band as far as changing it up by the beginning of the tour to the end. Had its core structure there, but we
Mm-hmm.
still didn't really know all the way until the last show. Something could pop up in there. 56 songs were played in total throughout 36 shows. And I think the 36 was counting Riot Fest too. Maybe not. So 37 possibly shows.
Yeah.
I kind of count that more as a little bonus one or festival thing, but we'll count that one too. Started May 10th, ended July 1st. So, good chunk of time, but not an insanely long U.S. North American tour, rather. We got one new song added to the mix. So that brought us to a total of 6 new songs that are out there in the universe from the band. So yeah, I mean, just solid shows. Seemed like everybody was pretty happy. I don't think during that tour, even with all our coverage of it and everything, nobody was like, I don't know, man. They just don't have it anymore. It feels like, I mean, we were talking to pretty obsessive people for the most part, but even the few casual posts I read and stuff, I didn't really hear anybody just kind of griping that they're old and need to give it up.
Even the magazines and the online stuff, the Brooklyn Vegans, all that, like it was just praising how they're,
Yeah. Even the pretentious
how
sites.
still they have it. Yeah, exactly. Even the like snooty tooties, the Smith fans.
Yeah.
Zing. Yeah. I mean, it was all positive reviews, positive write ups. Yeah. I mean, even like, like we've said before, like, it impressed, a couple old fart musicians like us. But then again, my 12-year-old son, who's a legitimate musician at this point, was even just like, blown away by how they can do what they're doing for how long, and was just like
Yeah.
testament.
New and old, everybody got to see them. A lot of people, I'm hearing more and more stories of people that took a kind of break from the Cure, or just for whatever reason had kind of faded out with them. Somewhere around Wild Mood Swings tends to be the spot, and then like they caught wind of the new songs, or just kind of somehow got back into them around COVID time or something. And so a lot of like people that rekindled their love for sure, and hadn't seen a show ever, maybe, or hadn't since Blood Flowers or Wild Mood Swings or something like that. So very cool that I think they won back a lot of old fans too. So very
Right. It was
cool.
also, I mean, technically, right? It was their first U.S. tour after being inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, right?
Yeah. So I think
So I
that,
wonder if that was a little bit of a spark for people like going back into the older stuff, even if they had like kind of lost the way, like been like, oh yeah, you know what? I did really used to fucking love them, you know?
yeah, yeah. I think sometimes it does just need that kind of reminder, to some people. They're like, oh yeah, I used to listen to them all the time in college, and then like see them getting inducted proves that they're a big deal. I think maybe those festivals in 2019 probably helped too. So people that just
Yeah.
kind of were casually at those festivals didn't realize that they still sound that good. Maybe, I think a lot of
Yeah.
even Cure fans probably just assume that they're up there kind of flopping around doing Friday, but it's like, nah,
Yeah.
man, they sound fucking great. It still is on point. So, yeah, so very cool. So yeah, North American tour, we got to see some good shows together on the personal note. So that was cool, and more importantly, we all got to hang out together. So that was a
Yeah.
blast, and just a
Yeah.
really awesome stretch of memories there that feel kind of like a dream now, almost.
Yeah.
It's like
Like
that
thinking
happened, right?
we actually did an episode where the three of us were in the same room.
Same
in the same
Yeah.
state.
room, yeah. So somehow have to make that a tradition to do occasionally.
Yeah, right. I know.
But yeah, so that was awesome.
So if
and
you're not, so if you're not a part of the Patreon, please,
Yeah, yeah. Pay for our flights to get together. And,
we will do the Holy Hour Fest. You guys
yeah,
can all
we'll,
come.
we'll treat it like one of those retreats or something, or-
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes, I mean, seeing the shows that we saw, we all kind of had our varying ones where one of us wasn't there, but then all of us were there, and but it was a good stretch. And I kind of, speak for you guys, but I feel like of the multiple shows, I have kind of different visual memories still kind of locked for if you say that night, we're in a slightly different spot. And it is kind of cool because we saw, I think, enough where it had variety each night and different,
Yeah, yeah.
vibe and
I had an
stuff
up
where-
top. I had a on the ground in the
Yeah,
back.
so it's
But then Merriweather, we were like right up
in
on
up
it.
front.
Yeah.
Like only like a couple, like one or two people in front of us before the barricade.
Yeah. So yeah, we did a lot of episodes on that, so maybe we shouldn't bog down too much on the whole tour, but it was all successful, and yeah, it seemed pretty flawless. We didn't really know immediately what was going to happen. I can't remember. I feel like they announced South America shortly after the tour, because I figure I
Yeah,
kind of
right
remember
after.
in Miami I was like, this might be the last one for a long time. I'm gonna, or ever, you always think like what's gonna happen, and
Yeah.
then like a week later, oh no, I guess Riot Fest had been announced, so I kind of knew that one wasn't gonna be the ultimate last Cure show. But
Yeah.
then after somewhere in there, they
Yeah.
announced South America, the last and current. I mean, it's already over. And that all ended really well, and, so yeah, South America tour.
One hiccup from a band member standpoint, but
Yeah, so South America didn't quite kick off as smoothly, in the sense that Roger was out like just days before, got a tweet, and citing health reasons was not going to be joining the Cure on the South American tour. Hope he's all right, but it sounds like he's planning joining them back as soon as possible, so it's not going to be
Yeah.
a full sideline thing. He did have a comment, which was the last tweet for him on the 28th of November. It said, just a thank you to everyone. I'm so sad not to be with you on tour right now, but my treatment has started and I'll be back 100% next year. Roger. So, just a nice post there, but it's something that requires treatment, is a little worrisome. And
yeah.
but I'll be back next year. All your cure alarms go off.
Yeah.
What the fuck does that
Let's read
mean?
into
Where?
that.
How?
Yeah.
What are we
Let's
doing
pull out our
exactly?
detective hat.
Yeah. So as we like immediately just wish him well and then move on to so what do you mean? What are you doing next year? So yeah, we'll get into the prediction side of all that, but that could be a wide range of things. So who knows? But hopefully he'll be back. Mike Lord is filling in wonderfully, though. Have you guys watched any of the live streams or any of that stuff for the South American shows?
I have not. I'm a terrible fan.
Oh, jeez, shame.
Yeah, I've watched a
Yeah.
couple of like YouTube clips, but I
Yeah.
didn't
Yeah,
do
that's
any of the
about
live
it.
streams.
Yeah.
Yeah, the live streams I found are it's like you hunt them down and then you're staring on your phone and then you get a text and then I was like,
it's hard to.
I'm just waiting to
Yeah.
check some out on YouTube on the computer.
Yeah, it's not like I have a job or a
Yeah,
wife
you
and
can't
two
just-
kids and a whole nother podcast.
Well, when you do settle down, and I've been recommending during the tour coverage of that, there are those the main festival ones, the Primavera Sound ones, where they're professionally shot, and they're usually put back on YouTube. So it's the like Mexico City, Argentina, and Brazil so far, I think, that were the professionally shot ones, and the mix is great and stuff. So those are the ones to watch because I didn't even really realize it until going into that was that we all got so used to watching the phone of the person in the crowd for like the whole show. And, we hadn't seen any of the new songs in actual like professionally shot and mixed, and it is cool because you do hear all the actual little parts a lot better. It sounds great. Just like the close-ups of like Reeves doing the solos of this and close-ups of, even Mike Lord on the keyboard, you're like seeing him play it and it sounds, pretty identical to Roger, but then other little parts you hear that are like, oh, sweet. He's putting a little different touch on it there too. And, so very cool. Those are the ones to watch if you do go back and check them out. But I've noticed they're kind of not giving him a lot of screen time. I don't know if it's just because he's like, the keyboard is off to the side, or if there was some kind of instruction to not, really focus on the dude that's subbing, But I know how sub life goes, you don't get any love up there.
Unless you're Simon's son.
Yeah, true. Then they're all up in his shit.
And it's like, yo, that's cool.
There's a young person in the Cure. Film him. But yeah, doing great. They sound amazing. It seems to be going good. The set list, from our perspective in the third round of this, aren't the most varied or diverse as far as like surprise songs being dropped in and stuff. So it was kind of, the pattern at this point. So it's a little hard to get like blown away just by updating setlist.fm. Like, cool. Yep. All right.
Yeah, but sounds about right.
Yeah. But, I haven't heard any complaints. Going back to Chaz's comment of South American shows in general, it seems like the crowd is super pumped and getting into it, which is cool to see them totally singing along to everything and putting us boring Americans to shame as far as our
they're used to like soccer games,
they're going crazy up there. So cool to see that, and I'm sure the band loves it. But so that wrapped up successfully too, and hopefully everybody enjoyed their experiences out there, and it didn't seem like the festival shows were any different than the solo ones. So anybody that had worries with that, I think hopefully were put to ease fairly quickly. I guess for all of the tour, the merch was another big highlight for the year, just because we love that kind of shit. And the new wrinkle of the tour posters and the show posters were cool, and they've continued that through South America or Latin America rather.
Like to put an asterisk there and say not the Cure's artwork or merch, but the artists, people's artwork and merch.
Sure.
So
it would be a good side question for Robert at some point of, still, we talked to the artist at the very beginning of the first one there in North America, but you wonder how much he did really have to check off by the end, or how much he was just getting an email one day with the proof there of the posters.
It's like,
cool,
here's a poster for this. He's like,
because some of them were just like totally out of left field, but very cool. And I think everybody's really enjoyed that throughout the year of the just even if you're not buying all of them, you're just cool to see, the little image pop up before the show. I'm like, ah, cool. Yeah, yeah. And of course, all the merch struggles, while they were great about the pricing on it all, the fucking debacle of taking forever if you ordered it
yeah.
was definitely something, yeah, I think it was kind of to be expected. I didn't really have too high hopes that we are going to get it immediately after the last show. And, a lot of that stuff too with framing stuff on the walls. The longer you want to stall on it, the better for me. I'm just like, oh boy.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So,
I still got
having
that New York poster, the cartoon one that I gotta fucking frame, and I have it laid out on my bed upstairs in the other room that like I'm just waiting for a dog to jump on it.
Right.
And just ruin it.
Yeah, it's a matter of just getting it up on the wall where it's safe before it
gotta
gets
get a
destroyed.
fucking frame, and I don't feel like going to Michael's.
Yeah, shit's not
Order
cheap,
on
man.
Amazon, bro.
No, fuck Jeff Bezos.
And we finally just got the standard tour one there, and got that framed and hung up just about a week ago, really. But so yeah, hopefully everybody's gotten it at this point, because it is getting, to be quite a good chunk of time, even since the end of the show in July, and people are still getting their cards and t-shirts and everything. But cool angle, I hope they continue that, for whatever shows they do from here on out would be cool. And I hope other bands pick up on that too. It would be a cool way to do it. But yeah, I don't know about that company though. They did kind of drag ass on a lot of it. Seems like most people got what they ordered at least eventually. You only heard a few horror stories of that.
Yeah, I don't know if they drug their ass as much as they got overwhelmed.
Yeah.
And
yeah,
certain
maybe they
degree-
didn't think of so many people would want so many of the posters and
Yeah. But they should have known, Cure fans, come on.
I don't
we're
yeah,
going to freak out and buy all that shit.
But like even at the same time, we were shocked at
Yeah.
the merch lines, because like I think we had all gone to 2016, and it wasn't that bad.
Nah, yeah.
Like, I mean, I got pretty much everything I wanted and went and sat down right away and didn't, like
Mhm.
this. We were going out during breaks and the fucking lines were still out the ass. So
Oh, yeah.
And I think it was because it was
crazy.
semi-affordable,
I think that had to do with part
people
of
were
it.
like, wait, the shirts are $25, not $45.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like it's
a beer's
fucking-
$20, so I might as well get a shirt.
Yeah,
Yeah,
And some
exactly.
Everything's at
people,
least $20.
yeah, and I guarantee there are so many people just standing in line being like, "Oh, I can just order this online for the
Yeah.
same price and not have to stand here." Done.
Yeah,
And then they got overrun with the extra merch, and I'm sure there were like things of getting the artwork and processing that, and
yeah.
so yeah, I don't know. And then I'm sure they had to work out something with the artists.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, hopefully the artists get a cut of how many were sold for each, but it was probably just like a flat payment. I don't know.
I hope not, but
yeah,
we'll
it's
see.
usually what it is.
Yeah, that'd be awesome if you get some kind of kickback or something for how many t-shirts.
Yeah.
But
In that game, usually it's here's your one fee for the arts.
yeah, they're not gonna
Yeah.
complain. They get to do a Cure shirt and poster. There's
That's
no
true.
way.
Yeah, because there's 30 people behind them that would do it for just the
Right.
fee. Just,
Yeah.
just to say
I'll
they
pay
did
you to
it.
do it.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Seriously.
So yeah, all a success on the tour front, and hopefully that'll continue. I guess just a general quick question. There was a lot of this is the end talk for the Cure. The songs are so, this is, wrapping all of their career and everything up. Everybody feared this would be the last time. Do you think there's any truth that after these shows at the end of this year that this might be the end? I mean, I guess when Roger's saying see you next year, that definitely but I mean that could just be like Robert saying see you again too, where we don't know. But what do you think? Is there any fears that this was the end?
I mean, unless the good Lord has plans,
Right. Yeah.
to
That
bring
never
one of them home to his side.
That'll always change things real quick.
Yeah, I don't think so.
Yeah.
It's I don't know. When's the fucking new? That's all. I mean,
We're getting there.
I'm debating. Do I want a new tour or do I want a new album?
Yeah.
Like, whatever it
Yeah.
is. So I don't know.
Yeah.
At this
So-
point.
Yeah. I mean, I
People
don't. I think they. I feel like if anything, I feel like they were rejuvenated.
Yeah.
I do. Like, I honestly feel like there was um, so much video from so many of these shows with just a fucking ear to ear smile to Robert, like
Yeah.
Yeah.
him and Simon back to back, like even just, I don't know, even just the reception of how people reacted to the new songs. There was no like, there wasn't that bitching like, stop playing new songs. We want to hear the hits. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, I think they were very happy with that. And maybe knowing that those songs are out there and so many people liked them live, maybe it's like, all right, let's get more stuff.
Yeah.
Just from the lyrical content of what was going on in Robert's life in the last 6 years, 5 6 years, is heavy. And then the world was fucking shut down, and
Right.
like all this stuff. Like, I think it was a good like jolt. and
Yeah.
and uh you know I think we will get the record will be out next year. I think we will get an announcement of tours. I mean, at minimum, I think festival shows for sure.
Yeah.
I just, I really do think it was a rejuvenation and not a goodbye.
Yeah.
That's,
Pretty much in the
trying to
same
stay
boat.
positive.
Yeah. What do you think, Chaz? No.
Yeah, I think he's still gonna want to play more, but it
Yeah.
just, I don't know
And-
if my wife said, "Would you rather go see The Cure or have like a unopened copy of, I don't know what the most like the Blood 7 inch?" I don't
Yeah.
know what I would want to do. So
Yeah.
so I don't know. So
Yeah. Well, I feel like they never quite swing back that fast, so we'll probably have some time to build up a
Yeah.
little bit more.
Yeah.
We won't quite go into predictions for 2024 yet, but I don't see them zipping back over here too fast. The way the Cure moves on
Yeah,
things,
yeah.
it's not
they
gonna
might even
be
wait for Roger to
yeah,
heal up. I think the Mike Lord thing was kind of like a not last moment, but like definitely like, well,
yeah,
we already planned this and we don't cancel concerts like some
right.
other major peer of our own. So let's go
Yes,
do
yes.
it. So
For sure. So, cool. Well, real quick before we get into any kind of final Cure predictions and such, just as far as releases, we didn't have too many from the Cure. Of course, the one glaring absence that we won't touch on just yet, we didn't get, but we did get Show on LP and Picture Disc and later on regular. We've kind of covered all that, but it was cool that that officially came out. Sad that they didn't capitalize on Paris too, because now I feel
yeah,
like the boat's kind of sailed on that, and nobody's gonna really be knocking down the door for that. Aside from that, it was just that and the Crosses collaboration we got fairly recently, that I touched on, but I didn't get you guys' opinion really on what do you think of the Crosses song "Girls Float, Boys Cry."
I thought boys don't cry.
I haven't
Um,
listened to it. So
I mean, I love
Yeah,
it.
man, no.
Yeah. I love it. I mean, I have one slight critique where I'm
Yeah.
like, if you're gonna bring Robert Smith on to be on a song,
Yeah,
don't sing at the same time as him.
yeah,
But
and
you know what I mean?
yeah,
Like,
yeah,
that's like that
it,
Whitney Houston, Aretha
it,
Franklin,
it
or
kind
was
of
it
just
Whitney?
gets
Yeah,
doubled,
yeah, he's
that
just
part.
kind of an extra
Yeah,
track
and
in
I'm like,
there, and
like Chino. Chino, I
yeah,
love hearing you all over this record, but when Robert talks, just sit down and shut up.
yeah.
And I'm
That
a
was
Crosses fan. I got tickets to go see him in February. I'm
okay.
excited. But very cool collaboration. Obviously very probably like humbling and amazing for Chino, being the big Cure fan that he is, to have
Right.
Robert remix stuff for him and then be on, remix a Deftones thing for him and then also be on his Crosses record was pretty cool. And I know, and like we had talked about it with Doug Gav, like how
Mhm.
just like it's so cool that Robert will be like, you know what, I like this band, I like this song, I like this. Yeah, let me do that. Come on, you know what I mean?
Right.
Like
Yeah.
he goes to stuff that he likes. He's not pulling his punches. He can, it's again, it's another reason that I think he's not done. I think if you were going to be hanging it up with The Cure, you wouldn't also be like at the same time, like, I'm going to, drizzle over here and do that with this band, or
Sing
have
this
these guys
one
remix
line
that,
over.
or release this.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I think it would be like, I'm going to try to slip into the, into the
Right.
backgrounds quietly. So
Yeah.
it's not a big to do. Um,
Because as
but
of
yeah,
now, this would be the last thing released with Robert's voice on it. If this was the end, it's
yeah,
like
yeah,
that's it.
exactly.
Him just.
But not only that, but I think about this too. Like, I think about, like this opening up to like another, uh, a younger fan base. This is staying relative for him,
Yeah.
like, crosses, to people that have been seeing the Deftones for a long time. It's like, yeah, it makes sense. But, they're also dipping into a new and younger fan base in that, kind of like shoegazy world. So to get a little bit of Robert Smith on that, I'm hoping some of the,
Yeah.
younger people that are discovering it are like, okay, cool. Let me go,
Look
check
this
that
dude
out.
up. Yeah, for sure. So yeah, pretty cool. Yeah, like I said, just the one line he's singing over. It's not enough to really tie you over as a Cure fan, but I'll take Robert singing anything on anything. It's good just to have it out
Yeah.
there. But
I will say the other night at work, somebody had a mix on after we closed, and the Gorillaz song with Robert came on, and I was just like, "Whoa, this is weird."
yeah,
Yeah.
They're like, yeah, and yeah, I want to do a whole collaborations episode. We haven't done a full on just list of all of them, so that'd be a good one for the
Yeah.
new year too, because it would be fun just to compile all of them. I did a super hodgepodgey one early on with the podcast, but it would be cool to kind of piece together all the ones. And it
Yeah.
is funny because some definitely. He's singing like a whole verse in a song, or just all the vocals he's doing, and other ones like this, or he's just kind of doing one track. He probably recorded that in his car on the way to the airport or something.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah,
hard to say.
definitely.
But yeah, I guess just to tie up the Cure then for predictions, we kind of touched on it. A few people have mentioned now, and this kind of does seem like the obvious route for 2024, but I mean, it really could go in any direction, but people are thinking now somewhere early spring, they'll probably announce it, but maybe do like a Australia, Japan kind of few round of dates to just kind of finish up the shows the world. Then hopefully, this would be my prediction, I guess, too. They do just kind of a handful of dates, Australia and Japan over there and stuff, and then the album comes out in spring. Back to the third time saying it'll be spring, and then festivals probably to fucking follow up. They probably won't do another full on tour for the album, even if it comes out. But that's kind of my most hopeful, even though I'm kind of like, fucking festivals, but I see them, or just because I can't see them putting the album out in like spring or, and then not doing anything. They would.
Yeah,
at
I
least
also
do-
can't. I like we had talked about this. I also can't see this record coming out in the summer.
Yeah.
Like, because so far everything we've heard from it is very like, sad and dark.
Dark as
And it's
fuck,
like
yeah.
there's no summer pop hit. Although it's not like people care about like radio spins as much anymore,
Yeah.
But I still think, when you're an old school band and you have old school representation and all that, they still may have that thought process of like, this is not a summer record, like where it
Yeah.
doesn't fucking matter to us. I don't care when it comes out,
Yeah.
but I just feel like it's either spring or then not till like towards the end of the year.
Yeah.
Because like I said, they're gonna do it's not gonna be a surprise. It's gonna be at least a couple months before, because they're gonna have everyone pre-order the vinyl before it comes out. So if we're not getting any kind of pre-order announcement,
Right. Yeah,
it's
I'm
not
thinking
happening.
Late January pre-order. That's what I'm hoping. But what do you guys' vote as far as chances? How do you rate chances? I guess just out of 100%. Are we getting this fucking album finally this year? I'd say 60% chance.
Right, because then it's going to turn into, oh, guess what? We're going to wait till all three are done and we're going to put them out as a triple record.
Yeah, it could. I mean, it fucking could. I could see at this point, maybe they just don't say anything and they just wrap up these shows and like, cool. And I'm like,
Yeah.
Did they think it came out? Maybe,
Maybe.
Like, maybe they thought it already came.
People are singing along. It's like, oh, we did such a great job.
Yeah,
I'm gonna say about 49%. I'm
just a
positive
little
it's gonna
under
come
half.
out. A
Okay.
little less than half.
Because I want to say a higher percentage because I don't think he. But then again, he's just notorious for putting his foot in his mouth. So it's like
Right.
like I'm not
But he's
even.
not saying anything now, which is smart, but at the same time, a little worrisome that he's not
Yes,
saying
and like
anything. But
yeah,
I wish he just not fucking said anything from the
I
start. But
but I am gonna go a little bit higher on this one. I'm thinking we get a 75%. It's 75%.
okay, good. It makes me feel
So
better that I'm not just
yeah,
delusional that I'm on the upper side of it.
I think after playing the songs for an entire, now more than a year playing these songs live, if there was any tweaking that he wanted to like get done, that tweaking would be getting done now. And then,
Yeah, that's what I was saying. The only real worry would be
like
he just
I
wants
don't
to
know, like,
re-record the whole fucking thing. I
Oh,
could see
God.
that, or he just like is like, oh fuck it, and who knows? Maybe it was a mess, But
yeah, maybe he's like, let's all get in the same room now because,
yeah,
now it's like, because the guitar parts were being done in like upstate New York. It's at
right.
one point, like, so it's very possible that it's
I
like, well,
just
let's all get in a room, and you know, see
yeah,
if there's
but
stuff we
even
want to
that, I feel
re-punch
like
in.
with Eddie Ben, even if he scrapped the whole fucking thing the day after the tour's over, decides he wants to re-record it, you still got a whole year. It should still come out this year, even if because they got the like 6 of the fucking songs down to a T at this point.
Yeah.
He could record. I mean, they recorded 17 seconds in what, fucking 2 weeks or something? I was like, come on, dude. Like, they could re record this whole fucking thing in like a month. I guess the only catch would be still if those 4 songs he just totally hates now that aren't on the album or that are, and he wants to
Right. Yeah.
rewrite 4
That's
new
why
songs.
they
Or
weren't
something.
played live, guys.
But
He-
Jesus, just put the 6 songs out. Nobody will care. They're all like 10 minutes long anyway. So.
He just gets really radicalized with what's going on in Israel and Palestine and wants to write a whole
Yeah,
new album about it.
Right.
Yeah, he's like,
the whole
Straps
B side
this.
just to
yeah, let me drop this
Yeah.
political record first.
Yeah, so who knows? That's I guess the beauty and the frustrating part of the Cure is that it really could the whole year could go a lot of different ways. They could just turn around, put the album out, and do a whole nother tour for it, like an officially out tour. But like I said, I don't see them popping back over to the US to do all that again. That's a lot of time and planning and shit. So we'll see. They could do it, or it could be total fucking radio silence as soon as the year could.
Yeah.
wouldn't be the first time either. Where we just don't hear anything for like a year, and then he comes back.
Well, I definitely don't think they would all of a sudden surprise us with some form of like, here you go, and it's a pre-order now. They're not good, they're clearly gonna wait till next year. Like,
Yeah,
you don't go for a pre-order when everyone's like running up their credit card buying Christmas.
Yeah,
presents.
hopefully not. Yeah. So yeah, definitely not going to be this year. So let's move on.
And there was no Black Friday record store day release.
Yeah.
Nope.
Which
Yeah,
like
and
we
I
were
don't-
saying, I was kind of happy because then I didn't run
Yeah.
down to the record store.
Yeah. It was like right after. Yeah, why did they do it on the? Is that a normal thing? Like right after Thanksgiving, like actual Black Friday?
It's semi newer,
like, what?
the Black Friday record store day thing, and I'm like,
Why are they getting in on that madness? It's like
I don't
geez.
know.
Money,
But I also
Gavin.
did,
Yeah.
yeah, exactly. But
People
I
are
also
into that,
did
making money. Yeah, turns
I mean, I
out.
know I told you guys, but like from our dedicated listeners, also I was able to, on Black Friday, I went to like a punk flea market that my buddies do, and my friend was like, "Yo, I got a Cure bootleg for you. Put it aside."
All right.
So I got the "Kiss Me, Kiss Me, Kiss Me" demos, on vinyl. The vinyl actually sounds good. It looks good, like from, like it doesn't look like, photocopied at Kinko's,
yeah,
cardboard sleeve or anything. Like,
that's good.
and I was like, I don't need this in my collection, but it's cool and it's from a buddy, so
Yeah.
I'm not paying a ridiculous price on it. So always fun to get a new bootleg.
Yeah, those are the nice surprises.
So if any of you bootleggers are listening, suckers like us will buy them.
That one's out there. Yeah. So very cool. Well, I guess as we shift into the gears of the actual podcast, I was trying to do the math. Technically, this will be going into the 8th year, I think, of doing this. Since the wee days, with starting it out with Donald there, 2015, kind of had scattered episodes in 2016. So we're getting on there, getting close to that 10-year mark. And, I guess just a huge thanks to you guys at the top here for the support and getting through these episodes and always having something fresh to talk about, even if it's an album that's turning 40 years old. So thank you. And
thank you.
And yeah, it was fun. I didn't really want to dwell on the Spotify stats that they give you. They make a big deal if you're through Anchor, is the hosting site. They're interesting, but I think we read them all off last time, and it's weird now, double weird, because Spotify took it over. So I still don't really know if it only is through Spotify or if it's all your shit. Or...
From what I understand, it's only the Spotify numbers.
Yeah,
but I don't know.
Which is kind of awesome because I'm always so oblivious to the stats and stuff where I feel like, oh, cool, that's great. And if there's a chance, I mean, that's not counting YouTube, it's not counting Apple, then that'd be great because I feel like most of our listeners even are more on Apple even because that's where it started out from the early whatever. But it was cool. It said that we are 104 people's number one podcast. So that's out of all the podcasts.
Shout out to 104 people.
So 104 people, which if that was all of them, I'd be kind of surprised still too. So that's great if it's everyone's number one. So thank you. And 304 people had us in their top 5. Woo. And 473 people had us in their top 10. So that's pretty cool. And thank you to all those people. I think I'm happy with that number. I'm still surprised it's more than 10 people. So it's really cool. The Wish reissue episode was our top one. I think it had some ridiculous percentage. It said, this episode has been listened to 874% more than any other. I'm like, woo.
What? Somebody fell asleep with it on and let it repeat.
It's I'm not good at math, but that's kind of a weird percent. 800% more than any other episode. But I just took away that was the most popular episode of the year. So that's cool. Let's see. 2.3 thousand minutes of content were created, which explains me not getting a lot done this year, maybe. But so followers, streams, new listeners, all of them were percentage up. I won't bore everyone with the numbers of that, but everything was up. So I'm sure they just tell you that to keep you doing it too. So they're not gonna be like, fucking stop, nobody cares. But and I will say, as much as I love the stats, and I don't know if you've noticed that with excommunication station Chaz, but since Spotify took over Anchor, it's been a little dodgy at times. When you log in, you have to refresh it to kick in, and the shit isn't there. Sometimes it only tells you the people that are listening from that moment up. So all the stats restarted. I was like, what the fuck is this? And so a little pissed that it kind of took away from a really cool thing, but maybe they're still working out the kinks. I can't remember how long it's been. They just
don't care, one of the two.
Yeah. At some point, they're probably going to cut all our podcasts so you can only listen to it on Spotify, Or just oh, jeez. But
well, part of the problem is that, Apple and all these other services don't really do this.
Yeah.
So even with what you listen to in music, you can't look at, what I've listened to the most on my Apple.
You can. I figured out a thing, but it's such a pain in the ass. Everything with Apple, where you have to re-log in and reset your. I finally tapped into it and found it. And I was like, after 15 minutes of logins and scrolling through this, it was like, your number one band was The Cure. I'm like, cool, thanks.
Cool, thanks.
Thanks for the big announcement there.
No shit, Sherlock.
So nobody's really posting their Apple stats all over the place. But
it would have been a surprise if it was Cradle of Filth or something like that. And
I was like, holy shit, I really been.
Your number one band this year was Kitty.
So Jason Aldean. What? I was laughing at it. I wasn't listening for real. Anyway, so that was cool. We had a lot of tour coverage, obviously. So hopefully we tried to do that justice and keep everybody posted. Still always go back to it'd be cool to have this just documented. So I don't know how much fun it is to listen to me mumble over set list as the shows are happening or not. But same time, I probably won't go back and listen to them. But I hope other people and kids out there in a couple years from now will relive the magic of the shows of a Lost World tour and listen back and hear the enthusiasm in our voices as we say, and then they played, and then they played. So, yeah, it's a lot of that,
It was a terrible impersonation of me.
Yeah. No. And knowing that all our kiddos, for the most part, Braden by choice didn't go, but we all got to see the Cure, so and Antonio got to see the Cure, so as we said. So a lot of cool firsts with this tour, and I think that's pretty awesome that will be the one we can put a fingerprint down on of where the kiddos got their first Cure experience too. For
totally. It's it's one of those things where it's it gets to go along with it. It's like we all got to have proud parent moments on this tour, with our kids. So it's always a fun, different thing. It's like, we like for us, it's it's just a part of every day. But when the kids are getting involved in it too, it's like another level.
We were watching the Brazil live stream when it was happening, and it was early enough where Henson could watch it too, and he was just like, every other song, he's like, man, we gotta see the Cure again. We gotta make this happen again, Dad. Come on. I'm like, trust me, dude. You'll know if it's happening.
Yeah, exactly.
But it was cool that he wants more. He's got a taste for it.
He's already
awesome.
like he. Yeah. He's set. He's getting ready. He's like, when are you guys retiring so I can take over the podcast?
Yeah. I think he's ready. For sure. But yeah, I mean, I could totally see him just being like, yeah, that was a cool experience. I'm done with it, check, I don't need to see him 20 times or whatever, but he's down. He wants it. So this year, let's see, we had 21 episodes. 14 of them I separated them for some reason. I shouldn't have done that, but I separated the Shows of the Lost World tour update ones, even though some of those turned out to be longer than our actual episodes.
Yeah.
and about 3 Latin America ones. I think about 45 episodes this year for the podcast. And considering there's 52 weeks in a year, I think our bi-weekly idea kind of went out the window with the so I guess we could be proud of that, right? We cranked some shit out. So that's pretty cool. But
we're more than bi.
Yeah, we're bi meaning we do it twice in a week sometimes, which did blow my mind a long time back when I started spouting off the bi-weekly every episode at the top. I'm like, if you do look it up, it also means you're doing 2 a week. So it's just whatever angle of bi-ness you want to identify with, I guess. So 2 a week. We do it either way. So so like we said, we had the Wish Deluxe was the main one. Lots of tour themed episodes too, as you'll notice. So we'll start backing off that a little bit. I think in the new year we can get back to talking about some of the old goodies there. We got the top 40th anniversary coming up this year. I know you guys have been counting down the days till 1984 will be 40 years. So
yay!
So start listening now, fellas. I know this is going to be the year that you turn.
Ways to critique it.
you're gonna turn. It's gonna take this revisit, and you're gonna be like, son of a bitch, this album's my favorite one now. So we'll see. And then I'll get my dose because it's also going to be the 20th anniversary of the self-titled album next year. So we get to revisit both those albums in detail. Lots to look forward to in 2024.
I will say I took a dive back into that record after our conversation with Doug.
Yeah.
And just kind of like, thinking about how the recording experience was. And I also was like, I'm going to try to listen to this record. Like, this is a new band that I've never heard of before.
Yeah.
And this is not The Cure. And I'm like, there's there's good stuff in there, but it's like, again, it's like when you're comparing it to all the other brilliant stuff, it just seems
Yeah.
it seems lesser, but I'm
Yeah.
trying to be less like angry with it and just be
Yeah.
like, let me put it on and pretend it's something else
Yeah.
and enjoy the, what's there.
We
It's
could
like,
probably get Ross Robinson on the podcast.
yeah.
You're like, yeah.
I feel like he would just fucking yell at us.
Yeah, it would be interesting, that's for sure.
I mean, I'd more want to ask him about records that he recorded that I love.
Yeah,
so that would be the problem with that one.
And so I'll be like, I'm gonna be there. Well, I'll let
like,
you handle that one. You can fly solo on that one.
I was like, what's it like recording Limp Bizkit when the guy plays his guitar all the way really low? Like, was that hard to record that?
With like a fucking bucket on his head. Isn't that hammer? Yeah. End of the world's good.
Sure.
That's the one I'll still stand by. But other than that, we'll see. This year might be the year too that changes me for self-titled. But yeah, on top of that, I guess a good, we won't shout out all the names of the people we encountered on the tour, but it was because I know I'll forget somebody. But it was really nice meeting listeners of the show and just people we've talked to online, people who have bought Chaz's shirts, people, all kinds of Cure fans. And that was a huge hope going into that, like prior to touring, like, oh, it's going to be so cool to do a couple shows on this tour in particular now that we have cross paths with so many cool people out there and getting to meet them in person and share a few words and a drink or whatever, and whatever degree we got to hang out with everybody. And that was definitely a huge highlight. I think so. You guys down with that too? Or were you
absolutely
disappointment?
I hated it.
Hated everybody.
Oh yeah, it was awesome seeing Chaz's shirts in the wild.
Yeah, that was a huge highlight too. So very cool. Yeah, and a lot of those people were wearing his shirts when we need them and stuff. So that was very cool.
Was weird.
So
Yeah. And then I was telling him I went to go see My Life with Thrill Kill Cult on Halloween, and I was wearing my Lullaby shirt, and some girl like ran from behind the merch booth. She was doing merch for one of the bands. She was like, "Where did you get that shirt? Oh my god!" And I was like, "Whoa!" I'm like, "Whoa, hello to you too." Great
conversation starters. Yeah. So. Oh shit! I meant to put this in one of the episodes, and maybe this will be a little funny. We were walking around Christmas shopping last weekend, right? And and we were walking by an unfortunate fellow that was on the street, homeless guy, I guess, but he was sitting there. So we're kind of doing the fast walk because we knew that was coming, the question. But instead of asking us anything, all I hear is, and I was like, he was just singing something. We're like, cool, we're walking. And then I made technically maybe the inappropriate joke to Henson. I was like, I was like, that's catchy, man. We should steal that. That's a cool riff. And we were like laughing. And I was like, yeah, it's kind of cool, man. And I was like, how bad would that be though if you took a riff from a guy? And then Henson was like, Dad, that's Love Song. Whenever I'm alone. I was like, holy shit. And I was like, what? And then I looked down and I realized I was wearing a Cure shirt with a big picture of Robert Smith's face on it. So the dude probably saw that and just started. I was like, what? So that was a very cool moment that not only was he singing that, and but then Henson recognized it. And then we were like, sweet.
Even better.
But then I was like, damn, I wanted to steal that riff. That was a good little melody. It's catchy. It's going to be a hit.
God damn.
So anyway.
I think he's got something here.
Oh, and going back to the connection of Chaz's shirt, it was the cool Kiss Me shirt with him where it's where he's sitting there and it's got Alexander's like font around it, was it? Yeah. So yeah, very cool running into everybody and even just talking with people, even if we didn't get to cross paths, a lot of the West Coast people, but hearing their stories and talking to them more about the tour and even just following each other of shows that we weren't at either of them, and then I would just get random texts and, hey, they're playing this and that. And it was just really cool that everyone felt a little more connected and excited as a whole nation of Cure fans. So it was very nice. And definitely appreciated everybody chiming in and sharing it with us and all the contributions too throughout the year. Huge Thank you to everybody
Thank you
throughout the
very much.
tour shows, that anybody that sent in anything, minute or a full on episode or any of that. Definitely cool, because it's always nice to get those firsthand accounts of Cure shows, or just thoughts on anything. So it's been rad. I guess a huge shout out to actual official guests that we, phoned in or hung out with or whatever. I made a list of official guests. We talked to Kate early on, Van Kelly, the artist, Francisco, Tom Burns we had on, Andy, the Cure fan, twice. Let's see, Scott out in LA, and Henson, my son, goes very well. Yeah, and Bella and Kelly. We talked to Jessica Poe and Doug of The Sleeping, and Jorge too. So very cool conversations. And but yeah, everyone that contributed in any way, shape, or form, thank you so much, as always.
Thank you.
Cool. As we touched on with upcoming episodes, the top, the 20th anniversary. I feel bummed that we did miss the 40th anniversary of Japanese Whispers, but everything's just bottlenecking so much here in December. And Japanese Whispers is one of those ones that everybody has a different release date for it. I think I saw someone starting today where they're like, happy 40th. And I was like, I thought it was on the 16th when it came out. So I think like every country like released it on a different day. So I don't know. It's not an official album, so we could just do it next year if we feel like talking about it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, we could definitely do it,
because that's a cool one.
It's a good, it's a good piece of like
bridging Cure history.
It's one of the other ones that people tell me like all the time is like the first thing that they bought. People, if especially anyone more so between like, are 35 and like 45, like a lot of those in that age bracket, sometimes that's the first thing you picked up if you weren't, didn't get into it super young, but you could buy your own CDs and you're going and you're flipping through stuff.
And the tapes in particular is something I wanted to look into when I was starting the research for that one to do a anniversary. For some reason, I think everywhere got it, but like here in the US, they must have really cranked the tape out of that, because I remember seeing that like right off the bat everywhere as a kid. And even today, whenever I'm in a record store and they have used tapes, and I always kind of glance over just to see if there's some Cure ones. If there is one, like 9 out of 10 times, it's always fucking Japanese Whispers, the tape, for some reason. Like that in the top. It was just something around that time, I think, when they were backtracking after.
Yeah, the top is a huge cassette one. I see that one all the time.
For that too.
I've actually been trying to find it on cassette. So if you see it again, pick it up for me.
What'd you say, Chaz?
There's probably a reason that there's so many cassettes at the top out there.
Yeah, trade them in.
Yeah, that's true. I do see Japanese Whispers on vinyl more frequently than a lot of other Cure stuff. Like, and also a lot of times when I do see it, and this is like a testament to it, when I do find it on vinyl too, it's usually beat to shit because it got listened to so much. And you know what I mean? Like, there's a part of that I'm like, cool. This record got fucking spins. Like when you see one that's like not a sealed one, but it's clean as can be, and I'm like, oh, whoever bought it, put it on a shelf, and never really listened to it. Like it's like depressing.
Yeah, so, and a lot of good underrated tunes on that never got played live even. So could be a fun one to dive into for sure. Yeah. Just ones I have planned for the start of the year too. We're definitely I talked to a new Patreon member, Tanya, that wants to come on and talk about the Curopedia book. Do you have yours pre-ordered, fellas? Or any of the Curopedias on the way? No?
Open for Christmas, but
hopefully.
But we'll see.
Yeah, it's on my Christmas list along with Lowell's other book, new book.
I saw that at a bookstore.
I have heard good things.
I think I'll audiobook that one.
Well, my buddy Steve is actually audiobooking it right now, and he was saying he was like it's actually pretty interesting the way that he broke it down, like into like smaller parts of like history, and then focusing on specific bands, and then bringing it around to Cure. So I am hearing positive things from people that are going through it. So
figured out.
We'll have to eventually, at least two of us will get a listen or read on it, and we can do a review.
So
Chaz, like, Chaz, I'll send you the cliff notes.
I'm good.
Goth.
Yeah,
Joy
there you
Division.
go.
Yeah, Susie.
The Cure.
I got it. All right, there we go.
I want to do an episode around the same time as the Grammys, where we do an award show where the three of us in advance pick like we'll like set up like a voting of like best Cure song, you know, and we all pick like a song for it, and then we won't even know the results. We'll do it as like a listener poll thing, and then we'll just kind of do like the announcement part of it, you know, where we list our favorite song for each category, and we can do all these dumb categories like they do for the Grammys. And
Right, because when you do those poll things, I think you can have it where you don't see
The results.
the results. So then we can go look it up. Yeah, we'll have to do
That'd
some
be
research.
cool,
That'll be
'cause-
fun. We could do best song, best
Yeah,
record,
and then-
best B-side. You know what I mean? Like
it'd
we
be
could
kind of
do
cool.
stuff,
We'll treat it like
you
a
know.
big award
That's a
ceremony.
cool idea. I'm into that.
We'll have to bust our tuxes out
Yeah.
again, but you know, it'll be good.
Man.
Any reason to celebrate, right? So, all right, the portion of the show you've all been waiting for. Now we're going to disclose, speaking our favorites, our albums of the year, and what we would like to share with you. We all wish we could put that Cure album as our number one album of the year, but you know, it's not out. So we had to choose other ones this year. So I hope you guys got a few recommendations for you guys out there too. Let's go live show of the year first, and then we'll build up to album of the year. What do you think? Live show? I mean, I guess it has to be a Cure one. Maybe not, but I think of the Cure ones, I'll kick it off. That Merriweather one was pretty magical. I think just gazing into Robert's eyes that close.
Yeah, I mean,
all that. So
yeah, I mean, he got, Chaz was able to throw him a shirt. I mean, like we can't go without talking about that, wrapping shit up. I mean, that was fucking awesome.
totally. Yeah. So yeah, that was a huge moment, and it's forever captured on full bootleg glory on YouTube. Man.
Yeah.
So,
Well, okay, yeah.
Yeah,
So
very-
favorite Cure show of the multiples we saw this year, and your favorite non-Cure show. So,
yeah, seems like a good
Yeah.
category. So yeah, I'll go with the Merriweather one with the honorable mention of Miami because that was super sweet having the family with me. And then non-Cure, I guess I'll go with that Future Islands show. Was really cool. I didn't see a lot of shows this year, and a lot of different ones. It was cool because it was like bands I hadn't seen before. I've been kind of being a lazy old man and just being like, well, if I am going to see them, it's somebody that I haven't seen before would be cool. And I hadn't seen them. Well, I actually played a show with them, but I think we left before they, way back early on, we opened for them in my band here at Asheville. But I'm pretty sure we left beforehand because we were like just in a corner of a room. And then later saw the flyer. I was like, holy shit, we played a show with those guys.
Oh, my God.
So I think I would have remembered it if we had stuck around. So a lot of times we would just bail before them. But yeah, it was very cool and definitely an entertaining band. So I dug it. How about you guys?
I would probably say Merriweather, you already said it. So probably that, and I think I only saw one other show, and that was Pedro the Lion.
Okay.
With my friends Clifton and Jay from the podcast Your Music Saved Us. But I think that was it.
Cool.
Yeah,
was a
I
good
didn't
one?
go out a lot this year. Yeah, it was real good. I played 2 of his albums and hung out with those guys, and it was a good time.
Awesome. Where was it at?
So, the Underground Arts in Philadelphia.
Oh,
Okay.
nice.
Cool.
Yeah,
That's a great spot.
yeah. So
So that
yeah,
Antonio's been to a few shows, eh?
Yeah, a lot. I mean, I was like,
That's part of your job.
seriously. So as far as Cure shows, Merriweather was like holy shit, But the first night in MSG, like really seeing them for the emotion that I got when they took the stage was like one of the best highs you could ever have, like.
Yeah.
I mean, but that continued through the other shows as well. It's just there's just something magical, kind of about that moment. And it's something very, very special that, especially, after COVID and it being, since I was 15, being into the Cure, finally getting to see them play, just because of how life and circumstances are, and just feeling so blessed that I was able to do, more than one, and at this point in my life, and to take my kids, and to go with my wife, and to be with you guys, my friends, and really just, it was pretty awesome. And then as far as
Yeah.
non-cure, that's tough because I mean there were a lot of firsts for me this year. Probably Depeche Mode at MSG. Um, especially it was the first time I've seen them play live, but I've watched a shit ton of like videos,
Right.
and my wife has seen them multiple times. And I will say there was a new like kind of feeling of they also I think felt like a reinsurgence, like in Dave Gahan was like dancing all over the place. And the last couple tours they played the
Yeah.
US, like everyone was like, oh, he kind of just stood there, he looked miserable, and they still sound phenomenal. So that probably takes the top cake for me. But this year I got to see them. I got to see Sisters of Mercy, which I love. Unfortunately they're kind of, his voice is kind of shot, but it was still great to see
Yeah.
it live. And then getting to see My Life with Thrill Kill Cult this year, Skinny Puppy on their final tour, and they were still really great. It's like a lot of times, as these bands are kind of getting older and moving on, yeah, you think like, oh, I'm like, we got to see
Yeah.
Billy Idol was great. You forget how many hits that guy has until you're in a room and he's playing for an hour and a half, and you're like, I know all the words to all these songs.
Yeah.
It's been a phenomenal year for live music, and it's already trickling into next year. Like I've already got tickets for stuff. I've already seen what's going on. I mean, the lineup that just got announced for Cruel World in
Yeah.
Pasadena is awesome. So I think Melissa and I are going to go to that. It's been a while
Awesome.
since I've got to get out to the West Coast. So, I'm hoping maybe even Scott's going to go to that. I can meet up with him while I'm
Cool.
out there. But yeah, it was a phenomenal year for live music. A lot of great festivals. Fest in Gainesville again this year was great. Two sets of got to see the Descendants, where they switched it up with a bunch of old tracks, and those guys still sound fucking amazing. And I've just shared a lot more
So,
live music with my kids this year. My son Elvis is like
yeah.
Elvis is just like super into absorbing music right now. So dragging him around with me is can't kind of made it fun again, even though I'm like, I'm gonna be up late, my back hurts, my knee hurts. I need wear my glasses. I can't drive at night without my glasses.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, but The Cure and Depeche Mode were just another level of magic.
Top dogs.
Yeah.
Cool deal. All right. Albums. Let's see. Albums of the year. So I
Dun, dun,
guess my
dun,
main ones
dun.
I'll just list off with a few honorable mentions. But strangely enough, this band Beach Fossils, I got real into their album Bunny, and it's like they were playing here at a burial thing that I checked out, and that's how I found out about them. But it was during when we went up for the Cure shows. So missed them, but they're really cool. They're kind of like dive, but more mellow. I guess the kids are calling it dream pop these days or something. It's like shoegaze, but more melodic and kind of just. It's a good chill album. But then what I liked about Dive, where it was like shoegazy, but has a lot of good hooks and stuff, and catchy stuff in there, and some good lyrics. Even if you get past all the mumbly reverb and stuff, you can hear it in there. And so yeah, I definitely recommend that one. House of Harm just came out the other week, so I feel like I couldn't give them top honors, but I've already listened to it probably more than the other album. So I guess I can't. I'll just slide it up next to the top one. But that album's really fucking good.
Yeah.
Playground is out there. I kind of knew it would be. Super catchy in all the right ways. They do the cool dark wave vibe, but still have enough of the hooks that I love with the catchiness, where it sounds like legit. You know? 80s pop and
even
stuff like that.
though
where
it's not a band that like rips off the Cure, the influence it has on it
Yeah.
is great because it can be dark and moody and poppy.
yeah.
It's
And
Great
yeah, he's
record.
got the perfect voice for it. And like I said, just hits all the right pop and atmosphere. So.
Say back tonight, I think you need it more. You're hoping now that it can be restored.
So I like that one. Some of the other ones, I just surprised that the new OMD is really good. It's got some great cheesy ones, as later OMD tends to have, but
Yeah, I
at the
was like,
same
that's
time, it's
nothing
kind of nice to hear
different, but
those
it's good,
even.
yeah.
But yeah, there's a few that are just as good as any of their old shit. So that was a nice surprise. Jenny Owens Young is one that I had hers or EP last year, but this full album came out this year, which is good, just catchy songwriter stuff. I like the Soft Kill one, Meta World Peace. So that was good, and then the Depeche Mode one was a nice surprise because I haven't gave a shit, to be honest, about any of the last few Depeche Mode albums, and that one kind of won me back in there, and I was like, wow, let's get some good fucking songs on it. So those are my faves,
cool.
but I'll go with those old Beach Fossil kids. They seem like they're on the right track. So.
Those kids are doing something right, I tell you.
Yeah, what you got, Chaz?
So yeah, the Soft Kill Meta World Peace one was one of my favorites. This band, the Julies, Always and Always, they just came out with a new album, first one in well over 20 years.
Oh wow.
Yeah, they just got back together over the last year or two. So that's really cool. The other album I really liked is a band called Saturdays at Your Place.
From around the corner, you might think I'm awkward. I'm always checking the time. Can we change the conversation? Can we make it about me? I'm always
This album called Always Cloudy. It's very poppy, emo-y kind of stuff that I like. And then let's see, Sam I Am came out with a new album that I thought was pretty good. Fiddlehead came out with a new album. I've only listened to it like once or twice, but that's pretty good.
It's got bangers on it.
Most of the stuff I've been into has been from 2022.
Yeah.
Yeah, so like
I had a
this
few of
band
those
from
where I found it and I was like, oh yeah, this one's definitely going on the list. And I look at it and I was like,
Yeah.
fuck, that was 2022.
Fuck, it was from last
Yeah.
year? Yeah, like I've been listening to this band from England called High Viz. I really like them. They had a new album coming out last year. I thought it was this year because they toured the US
No, they
this
did.
year.
They did drop
Yeah.
a record this year, but they also dropped that one at the end of the.
Did
yeah,
they?
it was it was the EP. It was an EP.
Yeah.
The Society Existence EP.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So there's that.
They're
and-
awesome.
Yeah. Let's see. And then this band called Pool Kids that I really like. They're self-titled. So yeah.
We just did a PBR shirt with those.
Oh
guys.
yeah, I really like them a lot. So
Yeah, I'll see if I can get you one.
yeah, they're pretty good.
I never want to hear that tone of voice again. I never want to see that stupid look on your face again. I never want to feel like I am wasting your time. I think we're gonna get along just.
If you're into Olivia Rodrigo, it's a lot more. It's faster and punkier than it, but it's still got that like really good pop appeal. So if you're into that, I would definitely check it out. But I've been into that stuff more lately because my youngest is really into that stuff, like Beach Bunny
Yeah.
and stuff like that. So
Yeah,
Yeah.
I love Beach Bunny.
Awesome.
they're actually playing with Melanie Martinez when we go see them.
Oh, cool.
See her.
Oh,
So,
nice.
Yeah, Beach Bunny's opening, so that's two of their favorite groups playing together.
Cool.
so.
Awesome. Good selections. Antonio, what made the top?
All right. The top one. So I usually am very anti giving the top record to an EP, not an LP. but it was at least a half an hour's worth of
Yeah.
music, and there are some punk records that are 12 songs that are only 30
Right.
minutes. So I think the number one for me is definitely the Soft Kill Metal World
Okay.
Peace EP.
Just seem like trouble. Well, you just seem like
I love it. There's not a bad track on it. It's just
Yeah.
every time they drop something, it still has a different flavor to it, but it's still Soft
Yeah.
Kill. They do that really well, where a song can be like, super driving and sound like them, or like super low key and half tempo, and it still feels
Yeah.
like them. So kudos to them. There's another record already like in the chamber. I love it. Just keep
Cool.
it going.
Yeah, it's good to
Um,
crank it out.
And then and then like you said, House of Harm, Playground is right below it. If I have to say, probably top LP for me of the year, I would say is going to those boys. But again, yeah, since I sat with it a little bit less,
Yeah, it's hard to.
but I did kind of have a pre-listen on it, so I am
That's
kind
good.
of spoiled.
Swooping in at
but
the
it's-
0
it's,
hour to steal the title.
Yeah, exactly. Well, and I think that's the thing. There was a lot of great music that did come out this year. As I was making my playlist of like my favorite of just songs that
Yeah.
came out in 2023 that I love, I was like, oh, it's a lot more than I thought. And then Depeche Mode. Yeah, I agree with you. I think it's the best Depeche Mode record to come out probably in the last 16, 17 years. In the later part of them, it might be their best record in the 2000s. Like it's so good. I love it. And the song sounded great live, and it didn't feel out of place amongst all the other hits and everything. So kudos to them. The Crosses record, Good Night, God Bless, I Love You. Big fan of, like we said, Robert Smith is on the album. There are also some other songs with some great collaborations. And LP from Run the Jewels is on a record, is on one of the songs on the record. It's just so
Cool.
good. And then local Long Island boys, Koyo, dropped their first LP on Pure Noise Records. Would You Miss It? And it is catchy as hell. They're one of the funnest live bands out right now. I think they're just on an upward trajectory. If they come through your town, like, it may or may not be your thing, but it is fun. Check them out for sure. And also, I have to agree. Also, yes, Sam I Am, I think, dropped their best record since Astray. Love it. Got to see them play a bunch of it live this year. Got to see them at Fest in Gainesville as well as in Brooklyn, and then I'm actually going to be seeing them this weekend in New Jersey, so I'm pretty excited for that. Also, The Sleeping, I Feel Like I'm Becoming a Ghost. Again, not just because they're my buddies and because we talked to him on the podcast, but this record is brilliant. It is catchy. It is melancholy. It is just deep, full of like great sounds. They're some of the best musicians I know. Even though if you feel like it's in a genre that's not in your lane, I would suggest checking it out. Also, the Gaslight Anthem History Books. They are back together with a new record, and I couldn't be happier. I absolutely adore that band. And then I can't go without giving a shout out to Butch Walker and the Marvelous Three.
Yeah.
So if you like cheesy 90s fucking catchy rock and roll, there's nothing better. The record is so good. And Butch has gotten better as a producer. They did this record on their own. Three dudes. It is awesome. And there was a lot of great singles that got dropped this year that I felt like need to get a mention. Boot Blacks dropped a single, Forbidden Flames, that might be my favorite song of the year. So if they dropped a record, who knows where it would have fallen, but it is probably my favorite song of theirs to date, and I am a huge fan of theirs. My buddies in the band Incendiary dropped, I think, their best record.
Yeah, it's funny
This
you
year,
said, and the
that's-
singles. I
it-
think, for many years now, I feel like I'm leaning more. Maybe it's just the times we live in, where it's like the singles are where it's at. Like I like one song a lot off that certain album. So you had mentioned playlist of best of the year. I think we'll share those if you're down with that, Antonio. I'll put your best of the year. I'll put my Apple one on there.
Yeah, for sure.
And Chaz, do you have any kind of best of the mixes you've been?
I can make one.
Yeah, that'd be cool. Do your best of the year, and we'll put all those
Yeah.
definitely on the Facebook page. Will be easy access for any listeners that want to check out these recommendations. Real quick, we don't want to dwell too long on movies, but do you have a top one?
I saw Oppenheimer in a theater, but I don't know if that's like a top movie.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I don't think anyone saw Oppenheimer.
Yeah.
A little indie one.
Yeah, that little movie. I'm trying to think. I watch so many movies that I don't even know if they're all like this year or not.
Yeah,
I know we were hoping you. I know I do less movies. We were like, it's gonna be Chaz.
I'll get mine out of the way. Indiana Jones 5. There we go. There,
I saw that. I saw that on the plane coming home.
Yeah, what'd you think?
I actually really liked Indiana
Good.
Jones. That's on my list.
Cool.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
I
I would say it was definitely a lot better than I thought it was going to be.
cool. Yeah, me too.
So,
I felt like my one praise for Indiana Jones will be that it was how I hope the new Cure record will be, where it bounces back way more than the last one, and had all the fun in there. You're never gonna top the original shit, probably, but at the same
Yeah.
time,
Yeah,
it
of
had
course.
good flow to it, had good emotion, and so I'm totally on board for.
and it helped erase the memory of the shitty.
That's what I
Indiana
mean.
Jones
Yeah, it was a good. You couldn't end on the crystal skull. And, I don't know what the.
movie. No, I didn't even want to say the name.
Yeah.
It makes me nauseous.
So,
All right, so yeah, Indiana Jones for sure. Then also No Hard Feelings with Jennifer Lawrence.
okay.
We actually
yeah.
just watched the other night because it's like we've been watching like all this like serious stuff and a lot of horror in October, so we were like, let's put on like a comedy
Yeah,
movie.
did it hold
You know,
up?
and it's for me, it was like it was set in Long Island. You know what I mean? So it
Yeah.
was like I was like, oh my god, it was like hitting so many, and it was an interesting concept. It was funny as hell. And for you perverts, she runs around naked in the movie.
All
So
right.
if you want to check that out. And then also John Wick 5. John Wick 4. I mean, John Wick 4 because
Okay.
they announced it. But John Wick 4 was
totally forgot
awesome.
that came out this year.
Yeah, that was just 3 hours of nonstop. Like, I think there was like 5,000 kills and maybe like 200 words in the
Nice.
movie.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, it was just, I was like, what?
Everything you'd want.
It's a movie you could not fall asleep to if you fucking tried.
Nice.
The Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Mutant Mayhem animated movie I thought was really good. Also, like Creed 3, I did like a lot. Across the Spider-Verse. Yeah. And then that's it for movies. I have TV shows.
Yeah.
Oppenheimer, Talk to Me, was really good. It was a
I gotta
horror
watch
movie.
that. Yeah, I want to see that one then.
Yeah, I can't really think of too much. I've watched so many, like I don't remember them all.
Yeah,
Because my wife
that's
and I are just like, let's watch a new movie tonight. So like we just kind of go through it, and like there's so many shit ones that we've seen.
Yeah, I feel like
I'm
there's
like-
got to have been more gems in there, but I was so meh. Hard to get blown away. Maybe that's just another perk of getting older. At this point, you're just like,
Yeah.
like Napoleon we just saw
Yeah.
last weekend. It was like, yeah. But it was visually cool, the battle scenes are awesome, but it was definitely hard to just be totally floored by anything, I think. But so
Yeah, I went like in a huge horror binge for a couple of months. So if I watched, like, I don't even know what year they were from, so I couldn't tell you if they were this year or last year or the year
Right.
before. So but yeah, I
Cool.
watched a lot of horror movies this year.
cool.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, I guess we could wrap it with that there and send the people on their way into the new
Yeah,
year.
absolutely.
We have lots to look forward to. And of course, as we wrap up, thanks to the listeners out there and all the support and just casual listening or faithful, loyal listening every bi-weekly or whenever the hell. Definitely appreciate it. And, you guys, have done a lot of great stuff outside of the podcast this year too. So it's very worth the shout out for anybody that hasn't checked out Chaz's other podcast, Excommunication Station. And it seems like you guys got some really good momentum going over there and a good thing going. So if that's in anyone's interest list, I would definitely send it over. So yeah, good job with that. And Antonio, cult leader, new things on the horizon, new tunes.
Yeah, I just finished up a new EP that I am working on. Kind of ended the year with the Cure and Ramones cover that I did, Fascination Street, and then Pet Cemetery.
Yeah.
Which
will be on the upcoming covers episode that I always kick off the new year with too, and still want to get you your play-by-play for it. We can do for the Patreon.
Yeah,
so
definitely
we'll do that
for sure
to coincide with the. So
yeah, I got some show things and some stuff planned. Might be doing my first out-of-state show this coming year, and this might be doing a little bit of a festival here in New York. So I mean, I don't have full details yet, but yeah, a lot more coming. And I do think with January coming, I think I am probably going to be bringing back the Nobody Speaks podcast, as I now kind of have a little more time or more balanced in with my job, that I feel like now I can kind of dip back in. My first year or so in the new job, I was kind of really keeping focused on that and a lot of the cult leader stuff, but life has calmed down to the point where I'm and this some other topics and things that I was I'd like to hit. So I'll keep you guys more posted about that, but I'm excited, I think, to bring that back a little bit.
Very cool. Yeah, we'll look forward to it. Lots of good podcastery out there. I guess maybe that's a good note of recommendation real quick. Do you have an ultimate number one podcast you've been listening to this year?
For me, it's our buddy Scott with the Sarlacc Digest is my number one. And then, my buddy Sam over at the Red River podcast as well. Those guys just always cranking out constant good shit. And all pop culture, music, horror movies, definitely check that out if you have not.
Excellent.
Those are my top.
Chaz, you listening to anything good?
Knowledge Fight, which is two guys from Chicago that break down every Alex Jones episode, and they go one by one, and it's funny. I know it's not for everyone, but that's definitely one of my favorites. And then I listen to the Daily Zeitgeist every day, and then the Dollop, but 420 Day Fiance. If you like 90 Day Fiance and you like to get high, that's definitely one of my all-time favorites. I crack up laughing every single episode, and I've sent T-shirts designs into them and everything. So
nice.
Yeah. So.
Yeah. Well, we'll wrap with that. I guess I got to also put my top podcast in as Sarlacc Digest. Don't miss an episode. Always good to turn my nerd brain into Star Wars Galaxy to unwind. It's a good way to escape for sure. So any Star Wars fan, I recommend that one.
And for all our listeners too, thank you guys. They're not just the engagement this year, but the streams being up and everything too. Gavin always says, if you guys have an idea or a story or something, this is just as much for you guys as it is for us. Your guys are on this fucking ride and journey with us, and it's so appreciative of it. Because like you said, seeing some of these people face to face this year made it so much more real. If three guys from three different states that didn't know each other a decade ago can get together and and do this talk and build this thing, it's really awesome that you guys are such a
Indeed. Yeah, so send it on in or drop us a line. We always love meeting the new people.
Yeah, subscribe, share, all that fun
all that
stuff
good stuff. we'll keep it rolling, at least for now. So, as long as that was always the goal. We can't stop until the Cure stops. So if they're rolling, we gotta. So looking forward to seeing what they do in 2024 and what we do, and more importantly, just happy that we're all still kicking and enjoying it together. So look forward to a good one. So I guess on that cheesy positive note, we can sign off, guys. And,
See you later.
Happy holidays, whatever holiday you
Yeah,
guys,
Happy New Year.
celebrate,
Holidays and
you
New
know,
Year.
Kwanzaa and all that fun jazz.
Or just not celebrating. Have fun with that
Yeah.
too. So,
Yeah,
Secret.
enjoy your Krampus.
yeah,
you know?
whatever you're into. So yep, we'll be sharing new stuff in the new year and catch you on the other side. So thank you so much, Chaz Antonio.
Thank you.
As always, a pleasure. And we'll just say, talk hard. All right, another giant thank you to Chaz and Antonio for another fun year of podcasting. And a ginormous thank you to you guys for listening. No matter where you've popped in on the podcast, how many episodes you listen to consistently, even just a little bit here and there. We love you and can't thank you enough. Come back for more though, you'll like it. The next year's gonna be great, packed full of Cure Talk. But let's wrap this thing up with one more shout out to our Patreon crew. If you would like to be a part of the exclusive team, go to patreon.com/theholyhourpodcast and join the Cool Kids Club. Yes, Donna, Craig, Jeff Hilton, Jeff Cortland Jones, Sue, Ben, John, Alan, Allison, Dion, Amicio, Matt, Danny Coulter, Matt Ford, Tom Johnson, Tom Burns, Letty, John Roberts, Francisco, Jason, Craig Bellinger, Amber, Nicholas, Arno, and Tanya are all part of this club. And Tanya would also like you to always remember that there is help out there if you need it. A suicide and crisis hotline that she is part of and consists of 200 crisis call centers is 988lifeline.org. This time of year is always hectic, no way around it. So if you or anybody you know is in need, please check out 988lifeline.org and get some help. You're not alone. And again, special thanks to Tanya for out there doing good. If you're traveling during this holiday season, keep in mind Tim is part of New Waterloo, who own and operate 5 hotels scattered all across the United States of America. You can find these hotels. They are the South Congress Hotel in Austin, Texas, the Waymore's Guest House in Nashville, Tennessee, the Revival in Baltimore, Maryland, and El Capitan in Merced, California. And in 2024, you'll be able to stay at the Albert in Fredericksburg, Texas. Go check them out. Scott Kruger will keep you entertained as you're traveling. You could go back and listen to heaps of episodes of the Sarlacc Digest everywhere that you listen to podcasts. And if you're a live in the moment kind of guy, then check out their live shows every Wednesday at 8 p.m. Pacific time on YouTube. Always entertaining, always educational. You'll step away with a full knowledge of the Star Wars universe just after a couple episodes with these guys. So check it out. Make it your New Year's resolution. If you have a project that is in need of some awesome animation, you might want to check out Dana's website. It's graphics.tv, and there you can find her work. She's a motion designer and animator that will make your project or business come to life. Check out what she can do for you and reach out to Dana. That's graphics.tv. And of course, Kate, who also runs CureThreads.com, has a wonderful project on Instagram where she runs Cure Arts Collab. Go check out that page on Instagram and try to get in on it. You get the clock is ticking, but her latest art challenge is to create an original seasonal greeting inspired by a Cure song. Use your own original graphics and imagery, upload it to your socials, and tag at Cure Arts Collab. Hashtag it is Mary Smithmas 2023 and hashtag Artist of a Lost World, and you'll be part of the action. The entry with the most posts by midnight Pacific time on New Year's Eve will receive a custom mug with your art on it. So it's got a little prize at the end here. Or like I said, if you're late to the game and just want to check it out, I'm sure you'll enjoy just browsing all the cool designs people have posted. So go check it out. Cure Arts collab. And best of luck to everybody that entered. Lisa says, if you are in the Calgary area, you might want to hit up Dickens because it sounds like that's going to be the place to be on New Year's Eve, December 31st, Sunday, $15 cover charge, but they will be doing one of their awesome Hang the DJ nights where you can dance the new year in 80s versus 90s themed, and bound to be an excellent time. Or if you're in the area of Little Rock, Arkansas for the holidays, be sure to check out Club Nevermore. Jessica wouldn't steer you wrong there. It's the hottest goth club in Little Rock. Be sure to check out their website for a full listing of events. And I can guarantee one podcast won't be resting for the holidays. That's the Excommunication Station. Chaz is always hard at work over there, bringing you new episodes weekly on the Excommunication Station. So go check out his other podcast anywhere you listen to podcasts. And for us, just make sure you subscribe anywhere that you listen. Follow our Facebook page. We'll put some extra tidbits up for this episode, including Chaz Antonio and myself's playlist for the greatest songs of 2023. I'll cover the Apple category. Antonio will have Spotify, and I'm not sure what Chaz has, but it'll be on there. So go check out our favorite playlist of the year. Bound to be some cool jams on there for you. And follow us on Instagram at The Holy Hour Podcast. You can email me directly at gavinconnor@gmail.com. So let's lay this year to rest. Good people out there, once again, thank you for your support and listening. We look forward to another action-packed year of Cure Talk. All my love. Happy holidays. Take care out there. And don't forget to talk hard.
Slide down close beside me in the silence of a heartbeat.
I mean, I'm more concerned with I wish we could stop the robots